Okay, hello, this is Aerator doing a Minmatar T0 filament tutorial on frigates. For the Firestorm, we use the Rifter because of its high boost to armor. Apparently I forgot to do all this. We use phase plasma ammo because of the resistance decrease in thermal. We use the 200mm repeating autocannons because they're the best you can get for 0 skills. Dual repping so you can have sustain in the abyss. This is the best plate I can equip with my lower power grid. And as you can see by looking at my skills, this is a pretty much day 1 account. I haven't used any of the million skill points you get by using the link in the description. You'll get 1,000,000 skill points along with a few other things if you start a new account, so feel free to do that. The only thing I've invested in is shields for the slasher I'll use in the future for gamma filaments. The other one I'll show in this tutorial. We'll come back to that later. As far as skill training, just use the standard enforcer and then you'll build up into where I'm at. The goal is to stay around. You want to be as high at DPS as possible, but 76 is fine if you're just starting. Yeah, let's just go out there and see what it looks like. When doing filaments, you want to have a safe spot where you bookmark in random space while teleporting or warping between 2 spots. So that's where I'm going to go.
Warp drive active.
And then as I do it, I'll explain the strategy for each room that I come across. The worst enemy I've ran into so far with this is the striking Damavik, because they have a high base damage in thermal and they ramp up over time, so it's a DPS race. Make sure I'm in a fleet, which I am. Let's just get right into this. You want to bring 3 filaments as a frigate because you need 3 as a frigate, 2 as a destroyer, or 1 as a cruiser. You get more loot if you do it as a frigate, but they're harder because you have less tank. For these enemies, I just go towards the beacon, use my Afterburner, and then activate 1 repper. I'm cap stable with 1 repper, so you can do that the entire time. So if you have 1 repper on, you're cap stable. Use your status Webifier and your guns on the enemies, obviously. And then this wave's not too bad as long as you only have 2 of them. If there's a 3rd one, it gets a little dicey. And just orbit at 500 with everything. It's nice, simple. Not much to think about. Keep it easy for newer players. These are all brawler fits, so you don't have to worry about range control. The great thing about Minmatar ships is they're all very high base speeds, so it's a lot easier to close range on targets that are fast, which will help with your tracking. Just like that, room 1 is done. Just collect your loot, reload, move on with your day. We'll see what the second room looks like. There's 3 rooms in a abyssal site, so You want to complete them within 20 minutes. Super simple. Usually, like I said, each group of people has its own set of spawns that are a problem for which ship you're flying. For this one, it's the Damavik because of the thermal hole and its ramping up of damage. I'll eventually run out of cat before I can kill it, unless we get in track good early because of its decent resistance in thermal. Another group of enemies that are a problem are the Minmatar. Ships, they're fast, and some of them will try to kite you, so you might have to burn away and then come back towards them to like slingshot. Oh, there's the Damavik we were just talking about. Still go towards the beacon or the bio cache thing, and then as it comes towards you, once it gets in like 13 to 15, use your orbit and then your web and your guns. Once your single repper can't keep up anymore, you're going to want to activate your second one, like you're going to see me do soon. This is going to be a DPS race. I could die here. This is the only enemy that I have any issues with. It all depends on its tracking compared to mine. Then once you get down to 1 bar, deactivate the second repper. Your capacitor gets around 15%. That way you can rebuild your cat back so you can survive the second half of the fight. It's like right now, deactivate. And then once you get back up to like 30%, you can reactivate it. The downside is that newer characters, we don't have thermodynamics, so we can't overheat our mods. Looks like we're going to come out of this one just fine, though. It's safe now to deactivate the other one until we finish the fight. But as you can see, its damage gets really high over time. But we're going to come out of it okay.
The capacitor is empty. The capacitor is empty.
That's the hardest fight you should look forward to the entire time using this ship. The only other ship that could give you more trouble is the Devoted Hunter, because of, again, it's high thermal damage, but it also likes to kite. So if you get in on it, you might be able to negate some of the accuracy, but their turrets typically don't miss. Shield booster doesn't affect us because we're using armor reppers. On to the next room. The great thing about using an active tank is you can recuperate HP in between rooms. So by the time you get into a spot where you're actually taking damage, you're back to full health. Or in this case, full armor, which is the only bar that matters. Another simple room. You just activate your dual rep early to negate the second ship's damage, then you'll be alright. Same as the before. Once it gets within 13, use your web and your guns in orbit. And then right before it finishes switch enemies with your orbit so you can get the other one tackled as soon as possible. I can turn this other one off now. And just like that, that's the site. Just collect your loot and get out. It took all of almost 8 minutes. Not bad for a day one. Collect our loot and find out how much we got. This one was actually kind of light on loot. It's usually more if you get a lot more filaments, but 2 mil isn't bad when your ship only costs 1.1 without ammo. Yeah, it's not bad. About 2 mil in loot. It's a good run. Like I said, the Damavic is the only enemy that's really scary in this ship. When we get back to our hangar, I'll show you the slasher.
Warp drive active.
With T0 sites, you don't have to worry about people ganking you, but sometimes there'll be other people here waiting for you if you fly higher filaments. High sex, safer, but never completely safe. People can blow up your ship anywhere. So just always try to be careful and conscious, regardless of what you're flying.
Docking permission requested. Docking request accepted.
And there we go. Stack our loot. And then we'll just put all this in another ship for now so we can keep track of how much we've made. We'll put it in this ship. Do we have enough fusion ammo? And fill back up the ship. You usually want to take 500 plus a full ammo loadout for each run. That way you're efficient with your ISK if you happen to lose the ship. Now let's look at our slasher. The slasher is a shield tank ship for this because of its with gamma sights. It has a bonus for shield bonus for 50% more shields, which is going to be the key to how we survive. It also has resistant or a 30% resistance to explosive drop. So fusion's a better ammo type because of its high explosion. We use Republic Feet in both because while it is 10 times more expensive, without it you won't have enough DPS early. So as you get more DPS in the future, you can switch to the standard ammo type to save money so you can maximize your profits from T0s. We use a small clarity ward enduring shield booster. It's not meant to sustain, it's just to extend your buffer. We call this hybrid tanking. And then this is our main buffer. I just use this one because it's cheaper. This one would be the most ideal, but it's the cost of the ship, so that's why I just stick with the normal base. If you get more power grid with more skills, you can replace this with another counterbalanced Gyrostabilizer or any speed, anything really. But most people just use damage. Obviously the Afterburner, and then the web, because then you'll have superior range control. With it being an interceptor, you have even more speed. So with the Afterburner on, you're doing almost 1100 M3 per second, which is high for a frigate with an Afterburner. So you should be able to close in on anything, regardless of how fast it is. Let's go take it out. I want to get more ammo first. Simple. Where did I put it? Did I buy it at the wrong station? Sweet. I'm looking silly on a tutorial video. There we go. Get our filaments, which is going to be the Tranquil Gamma. Get this and be on our way. Now, the enemies that we're fearful in this is the Concorde ships that do EM damage, because we have a big EM pole, because we're shields, and the Devoted Hunter because of its insane damage from anywhere.
Warp drive active.
Now, obviously, it's possible these ships can die, but as easy as it is to do the sights, if you make 2 million a sight and your ship only costs 1.5 million, you're going to make a profit every other time you succeed. So, and you're going to have a way better success rate than 50%. So as early game, it's one of the best ways to make ISK, especially for day ones. Now, obviously, they're way better ships than Minmatar. I'm just doing this because Ace Face said that he was having trouble finding a fit that was designed for newer players, so I figured I'd just give it a shot. These have been pretty successful for me. I'll show you my total loot when we get back. I've been doing it since 4 hours into the game on this account. I've lost 2 ships. I've lost a Rifter because I put the wrong ammo type in before I did the sight. And I lost a Slasher because I just didn't have enough EHP for 3 of them Spark Needle Concorde ships. For this ship, you just want to get as close as possible. It's the easiest to tank because of it's a bigger ship, so it can't track you. To be honest, I don't even need the Rever for this. I'll probably use it towards the end just to get my HP back to max for the next room. The Slasher is very good because of its speed. Because your guns are such short range, you want to be as close to the enemy as possible to get your optimal damage type. So if you want, in order to hit for a majority of your damage, you have to be almost on top of the enemy, which you can see he's shredding. But he's also got low resist, so that's expected. So we're basically doing 100% of our damage because of the 30% reduction in our explosive. It's not tachyon clouds, is it? Try to stay away from white clouds. It'll shoot you into outer space because it increases your top speed by 300% and lowers your inertia so you can't stop. This is a nice, easy first room. Again, if we can avoid the devoted hunters, I'll be happy. Them things are really hard to fight. Again, if you plan on progressing in abyssal sites as your primary source of income, I recommend watching Ace Face's videos. He's like the Sutoni of abyssal sites. Another room down, super easy. I don't know why I'm so far away from the ship. Oh, that's sloppy. It's a good thing I'm a professional. Not really. Anybody can do what I'm doing. That's what I'm trying to prove. Get our nice shiny loot. Move on our site. See, I didn't even use the shield booster in that fight. That's how amazing the slasher's speed is. Oh, like this one could be an issue because of the EM, but it's only one, so we should be fine. Again, this is just going to be a DPS race. Turn this on. If we can get close, we should be fine. Is this shooting thermal? It's thermal, not EM. My bad. These things are designed to be really hard. The cruiser version's much more, not cruiser, the skybreaker version's much more annoying than the pacifier. As far as capacitor control, same as before, just don't let your capacitor run out because you don't want to lose your Afterburner or your Webifier. So give your capacitor a small break. Once the shields run out, it goes down pretty quick. That's why we have this massive buffer, because of the 50% shield boost. Now the whole goal is just to keep from bleeding into armor. We should be fine. We should have this one in the bag. Don't let your thing run out. Yeah, this one's good. We win. We're good. Oh yeah, I said stop. And then just go collect our loot, on to the next room. Good time to get our shields back to max while we're waiting. One more room, I think. Then we're good to go. Reload. Make sure your ammo is always max before you enter the next room, because these guns take forever to reload. Cool. Nice easy finish. So again, just go towards the biocommunicative cache. Biocache is what I'll call it. And then when they get within 13 to 15 orbit, and then activate your Webifier, then they won't be able to do anything. Turn on your shield booster. Weird lag, but okay. Alright. And then just finish it out and you're good to go. Collect your loot, and that's another site down. You don't have to worry about refilling your shields because it's the end anyway. I'm going to, just in case there's someone outside, even though there shouldn't be. Then just exit. And then we'll head back to the hangar and talk about things we can improve on the fit as you get better skills.
Warp drive active.
Also, something I forgot to mention. If you do your career missions, you get these expert token things. It's the expert systems. As you can see, I don't have any activated at the moment. So it's one more advantage you would have as a new player. And I still have my 1,000,000 skill points from using my link. So my skills are easily attainable. I only have 1.497 million skill points, which you can pretty much buy if you had to from scratch, even though you start with like 1,000,000. Like I said, the only skills I bought were the shield stuff for the slasher. Things that I would improve on or change as you get better skills. We'll start with the slasher because I'm already in it. Once you get the skills, I would make this a medium shield booster. You get more per cycle, which will save you a lot of close calls because you can pulse it more while getting more of a result. You'll get a better HP per second. Well, this is 30. Go back to the other one. It's only if it's half. And when I had the expert system, I was able to do this with a small, the A1. So when I had the expert system running, I was able to do it like this, because you get a massive boost in shields when you have the skills. But I think it has like all the skills at like 4. Yeah, it had like everything at 4 with the expert system. And then obviously as you could get better, you can get the Tech 2 guns. This is the fitting tool. It becomes your best friend. And then you can use hail instead of fusion, which will give you better damage output. Then you'll be able to get rid of this. And then you'll have even more damage. And then your sights will be even easier. So your final goal would be to do something like this. Why do I keep doing that for? I need this. Actually, you'd probably rather have the compact. This would be your end goal once you get the skills, to have room. Or you could even do something Tech 2 related with the Afterburner to get more speed. But as you can see, it's a lot more expensive. I don't know why it does that. Something like that, or maybe even a Tech 2 web. This is all stuff you can get when you get better skills. As for the Rifter, same concept. The things I would improve on this fit is the Tech 2 guns, obviously. As you get more fitting room, you'll have room for the small battery 2, which will give you a little bit more recharge rate. And then swap. You want to make this plate as big as possible. So ideally, you would want something I think the biggest you can fit, depending on your skills, would be something like this. Even if you, I mean, it might even be better to do something like this when you get the skills. And then still stick with phase plasma because it's better. And then maybe drop this for the and then as you get better skills, you can do something like this, or you'll maybe even get to a point where you don't even need it. But you can still. Oh, hold on. Nah, it's even worse. Fair enough. Then you can just do the 2. With skills, you'll have enough power grid to use that. And then you'll have almost 2k armor HP inside of the Abyss, which is plenty. And you can 15 days of training. And that's mainly because of the projectile turrets. But anyway, That's it for this video. If you have any questions, you can message Aerator in-game, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Thanks for watching.